Hi, my name's Sibui. I'm the controller for Shopify Rebellion. I would say for sure I bring a lot of energy to the team and bringing in comms since I'd like to say that my comms are really impactful and bringing a lot of value.
His holding is where FaZe is headed. Now dancing and playing inside the smoke once again, even a shorty on the kill.
I think it's just the passion for the game because I am new to gaming and I've enjoyed like little bits of it back when I was growing up, but nothing really in depth because I was a casual player. But I guess now it's like the feeling of sure, like we're competing in GC right now, but I really want to be able to hold my ground and impress the other scenes as well because it's not restricted, right? So I think that's a really big thing. And just seeing times where I do get destroyed, for example, by other players, other teams is kind of like a motivation and like a big eyed opener to see that like, damn, like it could be really better if I put my mind to it. And if I grind it out, I could be as good or even better than those players previously, right?
FaZe identifying that as well, falling back. RFL pushing towards the B main. Good set against Jennifer. Go pinch once again. Recon dart to try to get small bang. There's two big nano storms and a effective kill. Wow. 4 into the round. And Ace.
So I would say our honeymoon phase went really well, or like, you know, our like trial and like me initially first joining, we did have a few ups and downs, but even after that, we kind of did bounce back. We kind of figured out the issues that we did need to address. So I'm really grateful for that. And especially the coaching staff, they've been really helpful and supportive throughout the whole way. So I'm really grateful for them. And then the girls on the team are very sweet, very welcoming as well. So I was really glad that when joining, I felt really welcomed, like really safe to be there and just happy to show up and such. So I've enjoyed my time. I really hope that the next few months and such, we keep on getting better and ironing out our little issues and such.
Life, 11 QE mentioned before on the desk. 4 FaZe, they'll have the FaZe up starting.
I just hope that our team and every other team does play to their best ability. I know all of us are competitors, but always keep supporting and expect that. I guess expect the best for each other, you know, everyone's individual progress and like growth and stuff. I think that's a really big thing, especially for my team. I just really hope that we show up and play to our own expectations or even like higher than that, just to be happy with results and no regrets, just be enjoying the game at the end of the day.
Welcome back to the Valorant Game Changers North America Series 2, presented by Verizon. We're into our second series of the day, and it's an elimination game to qualify for that final spot in the lower final between Shopify Rebellion and Complexity. I'm Mimi, joined again by Bach and Sapphire, and let's jump straight into this one, Sapphire, because I think, well, both these teams had different expectations heading in. It's a bit of a surprise to see this matchup happening so early in the lower bracket.
Yeah, well, you know, and a lot of that is because what happened to kick off this main event. It really made headlines when Shopify, as usually considered the number 2 seed, dropped to the lower bracket at the hands of Complexity. And so now we're going to see this in elimination match, not where we're used to seeing Shopify at this point. And then on the Complexity side, this is their highest placement to date and trying to get even further.
Yeah, I would almost argue that some would have guessed this match wouldn't have happened at all beyond that upper quarterfinal. I think that a lot of people would have anticipated that this would have been the last time these two teams would have met, as it felt likely that Shopify Rebellion should have walked away victorious. But they just kind of fell a little bit flat, and I think Complexity took full advantage of the fact that maybe they came in underestimating their opponent.
Yeah, and it was a rough one for Shopify. They've been running back in this lower bracket thus far, though, to make it to this point in the rematch. And after their loss, KP said that she personally would like to replay Complexity. Said that, quote, "It'll go different," unquote, if they play them again. So confidence for this player, and reason to have it, because Heather, there's a history of Shopify in these situations. Like you mentioned, they're always that team with expectations of being in the grand finals, of high placements, especially after the great end to the year at Champions they had in 2022.
Yeah. In fact, they also got dropped down to the lower bracket early, and they made just this historic run on the backs of like all, everyone had their really, really great moments. Sonder really came to life, like this really like young player on the international stage for the first time, just crushing it. And then we see Sabui like stepping in, having to fill the shoes of the veteran Benita. There's no one that has more experience than Benita. So that's a lot of pressure on Sabui, and she's played phenomenal, keeping them in this low bracket run.
I would actually argue that like at the end of last year, that run from Shopify was maybe a little bit unexpected. It's not to say the team was bad. It's just I don't think a lot of people had them pegged as the favorite. A lot of people were looking at a team like
Cloud9 would win that
White.
event.
Yeah, I mean they were looking at Cloud9 White, and the fact is, Shopify really impressed us last year. And now this year, they're fighting against a similar opponent to what they dealt with against Cloud9 in this version 1 team that has proven to be their kryptonite. But the fact that they're here in this position is somewhat surprising. It does kind of motivate the team, I think, to a certain degree, like you see it in KP's quote. And I think we're going to see it in the server as well. I think there's a massive bloodthirst coming in from Shopify right now. They desperately want revenge.
Yeah, this is unusual territory for them, and completing this lower bracket run, making it back to a grand finals, trying to regain those top placements that they've so consistently found throughout Game Changers is obviously the #1 goal for this team. And a player that is definitely going to be pivotal in making that happen will be Sonder. Heather, you already mentioned how good she was at GC Champs, but she's a player who in history has been noted for some of her inconsistency. And I think we did see that on the first day of this event. When they got upset against Complexity, she struggled. But she has been insane now in this lower bracket.
Yeah, this is a classic like day 1 versus day 2 Sonder. It's a little slower start, but when her back is against the wall, she absolutely comes to play. And we also did see, some changes yesterday too. I think day 1 she was playing that duelist, which we know her for, and then day 2 she was playing that initiator role. And we heard that in the interview yesterday too, is that Sonder has a lot to say in the game. KP said Sonder's making a lot of calls, and by putting her on that initiator role, that just gives her more space, more ability to read the map, and then help open up Lori to make those duelist plays.
Sonder just got shut down day 1. There really isn't another way to put it. Really struggled in the early fights. Definitely could not get her foot in the door. Obviously, things turned around since then, and we anticipate even a continuing rise from Sonder as we move through this lower bracket.
We'll have to see if she can keep this strong form now up against Complexity. But this Complexity squad is one who have shown us a lot of great stuff thus far in this event, and I think have punched above what people may have expected of them. The core of this squad has been together for quite a while. They've been trying to break through that really 5th, 6th placement that they were so consistently able to get. But Heather, already at this event, they've broken through and now have a chance to go even deeper.
Yeah, there's a lot of good building blocks here. We've seen them growing over the years. We saw them on some smaller lands playing really well. They've got like a great like personality. Clearly, like they're all good friends. And then they recently brought in a new coach just a couple weeks ago, Coach Joe, and it seems to be paying off for them. It's definitely it's a little slower, but there's progression being made with this team.
Think of how important this event is for Lace as well, who's been on this roster since day 1, since before it was even Complexity. Like every iteration, multiple IGLs, different coaching staff, different support staff on the team, the roster's always changing. She's the one constant, and now they're finally in this position, a chance to really prove themselves here against a very serious opponent in Shopify Rebellion. This is a big moment for this Complexity team, but definitely specifically for her as well.
Yeah, and I think, recently too, we heard that, Lace has also changed from being that IGL role, and now that's in the hands of Jazzy. And again, they're making these little tweaks, and we're starting to see those results. And yeah, this is going to be big. If they take this, like this is history, not just for Complexity, but for Game Changers North America.
It's been those small changes for Complexity, trying to find the right recipe to finally make this deep run. But a player who's always been there for them and has always been performing. Not quite the same length of time on this roster as Lacey has, but Claudia has been there through the ups and downs of Complexity. And it seems like in every one of these events, Bach, she's performing. And today, she's up against another one of these super consistent Sentinel Flex players.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday really it was the match against EG that was big. Claudia ended up having a huge performance, ended up sitting towards the top for Complexity, and that's going to be an important piece for them if they can try to return to that form again. We've already seen once today just how good a strong Sentinel player can be as we watch Noya prove that position is definitely viable, whereas many people often are looking at oh, it's the duelists and they're the ones who are going to set the pace. Well, no, not necessarily. Sometimes that Sentinel can be the one that really steps up, and it's in the clutch positions that I really want to see those players rise to the occasion.
Yeah, you just said it there. They're great anchors. They're great clutchers. We always see them left alive. They're not falling for those over rotates. A lot of consistency between these two.
Well, we've already seen these two teams match up once, and it was Complexity taking the victory, but it is a new day here in the lower bracket. We'll have to see if the maps change in this best out of 3. Buck, are you expecting anything different here?
I mean, we right off the rip get something different. So we already talked about it in the previous series, how we hadn't seen Haven until the previous series. And we end up getting Haven right off the rip. We end up with Fracture as our second map, which would have been map 3 in that series if we went that far, but we didn't. So kind of interesting that we get it a little bit earlier, and then we're going to go to Pearl. So it's a completely different map pool, which is nice, and I do think that was maybe a good move from Shopify Rebellion to ban Lotus, given that that map has been Complexity's bread and butter throughout this event thus far. It's proven to be one of the maps that they are very competent on. So I think this is actually the right move for them, even though maybe Haven could produce some problems for them as we've seen them banning it out in Game Changers thus far. I still think it's like, okay, the devil you know, the devil you don't, you know? Like maybe our perma in this event isn't as bad as their map is good.
Yeah, and I like that we're gonna hopefully finish up on Pearl. That's the one map that's gonna be a rematch there, and you know it was close for the most part. Obviously, like Complexity took that map, but Shopify has done very well on it historically, and I think that could be an interesting series.
Well, let's get ready for our first map here of Haven between these two teams. Heather, you had mentioned earlier about Jazzykins changing over to the IGL role for this team. And I think that's going to make the matchup here really interesting for this team, because in history against Cloud9, well, it was Mel IGLing back then. Jazzy was always so good against this Shopify squad. And this is one of the maps where she's playing in both the IGL role and as that Jet.
Yeah, you know, it is a little more difficult, I think, when you're being the entry. You know, you're also trying to pay attention to the rest of the team and make the calls, but it's worked out for them for the most part so far. You know, they have their highest placing to date, and maybe that's the switch they needed to make this final push into the top 3.
And Shopify here as well, just kind of going into a similar basic comp with the Breach and the Sky there. Slight difference really just being that Viper buck.
Yeah, you know, I think what's interesting here is that we haven't really seen a whole lot from Shopify this year on the map. They've actually only played it 4 times, only 2 times during Game Changers as well. It's a map they've been banning out, yet they still just run kind of like a basic composition. So my thought process is, what was the reason for the ban? You know, everyone kind of knows how to play this sort of standard meta composition. I thought maybe there's a world where they're working something new or they're trying something different, but they do stick with what is known. So clearly it just illustrates that they just don't feel comfortable here, even though they play a very well-known composition, a very comfortable quote-unquote comp. They just don't feel at home on the map. How's that going to affect them? Is it going to take them time to find their footing? You know, Complexity has obviously played it a little bit more, definitely favoring it a little bit more than they have. And they've found success, but only in the qualifiers. So it's like, okay, they haven't really been tested against a team at this level. They've been mostly in the early rounds. They had a 13-2 victory here, a 13-3 as well with the same composition. Yeah, sure, that's great, but it's not at this level. It's not at this point. It's not, even if it was in an upper quarterfinal, it doesn't compare to an elimination match this deep in a tournament when the pressure's on and all of these players know what's on the line. I mean, we already talked about it, story building for Lace. This is an important game to finally like break through a ceiling that has held this team down. It would be hard to lose this. So I kind of wonder, is that pressure going to potentially get to them and give Shopify Rebellion the leg up they need on a map that they don't feel comfortable on?
Well, it will either be Complexity continuing to break through their barriers, or it'll be Shopify Rebellion re-hitting the position that they feel they deserve. An elimination game here, Haven to start. We'll send it over to Rivington and Van Silly to take you through it.
Team stage have been set right now from the analyst desk, saying that this is definitely a revenge game between Complexity and Shopify Rebellion. Hopefully a revenge that Shopify could take, but Complexity has been looking very good. That's Game Changer Series number 3.
I can feel the heat from here. It's just permeating from this game. The revenge is coming up boiling. Yeah, I cannot wait. Usually, Shopify is not one to be kind of poked, right? They get up, they come back stronger, and we don't really get to see them from this position too often. So I wonder how Complexity is going to react, how they'll play maybe a bit defensive at first, or if they'll actually decide to try and take over the game, because Shopify is a very offense on defense and more offense on offense kind of team. So I expect this one to be pretty in your face, but that's exactly what we want. And it was pretty interesting, Vance, to hear, KP saying recently she's picking up the calling duties because Benita left, and then you hear a little bit more that Flowerful, Sonder, Sabui, it seems like everybody actually has a pretty big voice on the team.
Yeah. One main caller that has a vocal team to be able to make the biggest calls and ensure that they can overtake and dethrone here Complexity, again, who's been on a heater this event so far, and using this composition on Haven, out with a double controller, using a Viper on Raze, and using the wall that's been very, very common and pretty much a signature wall from Viper on the attack to start things off. Complexity are looking to bring an inch slowly up towards his B site.
This will be knowledge of where the Killjoy utility is to start as well, and it looks like they'll be giving B. This retake is going to be powerful with a breach and a Sky coming in. They're going to delay the spike plant for now.
Yeah. What I like so far is the turrets just making sure that there's no pressure on Garage, but Complexity wants to edge out towards the A ramp first. The A connector and the sewers to pinch back towards the A side, but this becomes a repivot towards the B side. A late lurk out from Raze right after, and the plant for Bilan. But here's our rotation. I mean, they've lost a lot of ground in the process. Look at Shopify Rebellion slowly inching her and pincing her way back in.
Oh my God. Flowerful? Does Flowerful wait? Flowerful did. Oh no! Kara!
Unfortunately fades away. You saw the paranoia come out from Sabui all the way back towards the spawn into the B site. But as we swing towards the front, a lot easier for Complexity to play the pulse plan with the range that they have on the Ghost. It's a clean pistol round on a Flawless.
Very clean. Even disturbed by the aftershock, Complexity played the audible well, still wanted B, even after the back and forth. I think what solidified going B is that right there. Right? No, that's the flank. Let's look forward to get that plant down again. And yeah, even with Sabui having a smoke, they didn't face any trouble of getting smoked off or any controller issues there. So yeah, like you said, really clean pistol round. And I'm sure Complexity is very happy about how that went. We see Bulldogs and a Vandal coming out for Lace here. They don't want to drop that. So we can see this team moving as a whole here down Long C.
They may drop it though. Look at the amount of players from Shopify towards the C side. 5 players around it.
Gosh.
I was giving credit to that turret that was placed before here by Flower in the garage. Shopify Rebellion, we're trying to use that for sounding an alarm so that Sabui could get through for a paranoia into B if needed B. But all those plans have been foiled when the Complexity pushed towards the A choke point. And this time around, Complexity, they're not really... For me, it looks like they're kind of guessing still where they want to hit the sites. Really just holding it down, walking, play the contact, trying to guess where, or trying to find out where the stack is coming from for Shopify, because it's been very quiet from their end.
A little bit of knowledge with the bird they threw into C. It's landed front C, so they're like, someone's playing front left or right C. We don't want this. There's more than one maybe. Good inkling on that as they rotate across, but now they're going to have to worry about the backside here. Claudia watching that, and she's going to alert the rest of the team for sure.
Oh, yeah. If not her, the alarm bot will. There you go. It sounds, but only for one player so far. No main contact coming out. ADS is out for Lace with that Vandal. You can definitely see here from Shopify Rebellion. Let's not give up any orbs. Let's try to see if we can fight once the spike blows up. We fight outside the radius, right where Claudia is hiding. So it is definitely going to be a second round coming in for Complexity, but at least thankfully there, you do have the support for Claudia. The flash then comes out, and it's supposed to be, and is about to be Complexity all across the board. So 2 rounds coming in now for Complexity, 2 dying to the spike, of course, on the other end for Shopify. So it's going to be a very good bonus round for Complexity. 2 flawless rounds in a row. That money is flowing very early.
It looks good. And I love the plant there, right? It's obviously just a plant, but they plant against the far right wall, which actually helps the escape. Since they hadn't seen anybody, everyone's going to be on the flank. And the spike being that far against the wall gives them more room to play with on the exit. They're not getting hit by the orb or the outline of the bomb as it comes off. So really neat little things there. Another clean round, keeping all their ducks in a row. I like it. No mistakes yet for Complexity here. It looks like they're going to attempt towards A first. They've had a very give-and-go style. They give a little bit towards the site, but they don't commit initially. From what we saw on B, I think that's the only one they've stuck. Let's see if it's A all the way.
Seems to be the case because the Trailblazers saw so much, allowing here Jazzigan to try to get an entry, but at least their support for 2 kills on the side of Complexity on top of that. And already the bonus round starting quite well for Complexity. Even look at that lurk activated by Claudia, trying to cut the rotations into the rush, which might allow here Complexity to pivot back if a kill comes early. If not, looking to make the mistake to start this Shopify Rebellion, they could punish that as well.
Claudia moves. Oh! Little trade.
Claudia's going to move towards mid for this fight for the one-on-one against Flowerful. Meanwhile, though, the A site is still under attack. It's about to get traded off, and on even both ends, instantly, both Complexity players win their duels, and Complexity are now winning the bonus round. This is an even better start. I don't know how many times I could say better and great. I'm going to have to look into my thesaurus. Exactly. Complexity's looking good, pretty much.
They are. And with the speed these rounds are happening, 1 or 2 more of those, and that's a timeout. That's for sure a timeout. Complexity has a handle on this game, and it almost seems like Shopify needs to get a little reorganized already starting off here. Oh my word. Their revenge arc is being shut down really quick. Pushing out mid, Complexity, or Shopify rather, wants a little bit of space. And again, Complexity avoid. Let's see what Flowerful can do here.
A little bit of mid contact for the Nanoswarm. That gets spotted right away. Broken. Not really needed to break that, but, you know, try to aim lap here and there. But the holds that we currently have, unfortunately, a couple of shots missed by Sabui. It's always difficult for those. But things are looking pretty good for Complexity. This would be what, like the 3rd flawless in 4 rounds, Riv?
Yeah, things are getting a little whiffy.
I do agree with you that probably at this point you're going to need a timeout real quick if you're not finding any type of results on any type of play you're trying to do, especially if you're Shopify.
And these are straight up rounds too, Vansili. They're not tricking Shopify. It's simple utility, dry peek here. I mean, this was obviously the eco round, but a few flubs on top of the power that Complexity is bringing, and it makes it look this powerful. Now, Lori, the operator, a bit of a switch, a big investment.
Yeah.
No timeout yet, but 4 in a row here for Complexity. Let's see if they can make it happen again. They're going to be met with that off.
Hopefully the saving grace. Snake bite, though, pushes Lori just a little bit out of that snake bite. Seeing through the X-ray. Raze is moving down.
Dangerous.
It's being red. Wall will come down with the flash.
Toxin screen down.
That's still allowing Raze to get at least 1 corner. Still being watched by the up by Lure. Meanwhile, though, there's a fight that ensues towards long A. Saunders stuck in a corner. Cannot get away. Needs a smoke, but the smoke's all the way towards that C side, so there's no support coming through. An easy kill for Jazzikins. And that might be a chance here for Complexity to fight back and move forward towards the site, but Lure wants to inch back forward with the op. The lineup onto 2, but only lands onto that 1. Our 4 versus 4 spike falls down. A rotation comes across from the spawn, but there's still that lurk from Claudia on mid.
They get the util out 50 seconds. They can repeat that hit onto B if they want to. And the rest of the team may go there to start with Claudia's lurk continuing.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Especially now you have that pit available.
Blocking
Great opportunity to get the pit in for a plant. There you go. Okay, Raze instantly falls, though.
Oh, no.
Here.
Oh, man. Shopify
left.
Rebellion knows just as much as we do. They're playing so quick to this now, knowing they cannot give up many more rounds here. Got to start some kind of defensive attack. It's going to be a plant. Whatever the setup is. This is the point I was talking about before. So we can smoke this out, and it could be an easy retake for Shopify. We'll see how Complexity stays in sight.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. They have to stay within the site. The nanoswarms are used by Claudia to try to clear out different corners in the end, so there's no pulse plant utility. Jazzikins playing inside the smoke, capitalize on the kill into Firefall. Dash open, beautiful paranoia that comes out for a double kill. 4 into the round. Need only one more. Now spotted as Sibui gets the pick off onto Claudia. Another paranoia comes out from Sibui this time around. Peeking around the corner, the dash away, but the trade-off happens. And Complexity puts 5 in a row so far on Haven.
Just taking the space. I think one of the important things we have to notice from Complexity right now, and we might get that timeout soon as we rewatch this play, is that they're getting to the space they need quite easily to execute the strategies that they need, right? That round that we saw Lori want to up lower, quick Viper's bite, Viper wall, and we saw Raze was already in lower. Then they can execute from long as well. That strat, they're already pushed up in sight. Jazzikins is in the face of 2 players to execute off Lace's late game paranoia into a push off of post plant. Like, they're so far forward when they're getting these executes down, it's throwing Shopify Rebellion off.
Those are the deadly things. To see
so
that
deadly.
on a pulse plant with about 15 seconds left, there's still a paranoia available for Complexity, which means that they never needed to use any big utility for gaining space at the beginning of these rounds, and that's where it becomes dangerous. It's been a little bit of a change now when you're looking at certain comps and a certain way that they play around Haven. It's not too much about, oh yeah, Breach is going to fault line my teammates into a certain position. A lot of the players on the attack are playing contact now within these A sites, not even smoking towards heaven, really trying to catch players off guard. And it's been working for a couple of teams. I'm just thinking about like Challengers teams as well, being able to do that during the Ascension tournament. And now Complexity is doing the same thing. Contact play towards the A site. That kill happened right about 2 rounds ago. But Shopify Rebellion coming off a timeout that they desperately needed. This time on a lower buy. Late Storm instantly punished.
That's wild. We have to consider that's the first time Shopify Rebellion's pushed that far. They don't know what Complexity's been doing in that area, right? Complexity's owned that. Just as I said before, they're executing from so far forward, and they know exactly what that lobby has looked like every round, making this play possible, starting off 5v3.
Yeah.
And waiting for more push.
Exactly. One of those teams I was talking about in the contact play was huge in there. I was trying to remember the name.
Oh, yeah.
So gets that done, and I think even in the Neon in that comp. So quite interesting the way that they play that. But the Viper that's being pulled out, more of like a guard style that you currently see here. Using that wall for, you see how much damage that's done towards the pushes for the defenders moving forward. Not getting any type of vision, and then gets punished when they're not clearing the corners. So now you have a 5-on-2, potentially another flawless in this half.
This is uncharacteristic of Shopify Rebellion, and all credit goes to Complexity.
100%.
Just tearing them to sorts right now. The trades, the attempts, the peaks, it doesn't look clean. And the pressure comes in once more. Claudia with the final one. Yeah, that's not even a brush of the clothing. All 100% on HP and armor. The 6th round, and they just squash the timeout Shopify calls too.
Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
And it looks like from that smoke there, that wall bang kill, it looks really nice and lucky, but you can definitely see there's question marks that pop up as well on the radar when you had the off angle being played there to be able to punish Laura moving forward with the Blade Storm. And now, second wind for Shopify Rebellion, another opportunity to hold their ground with another operator this time. Once again, rather in the hands of Lori, working towards this A side, but Complexity looking to shift the gears a little bit. A quick push towards the C side and a late split of 4-1 off the Seeker, slowed down by the Paranoia, thrown out by Sibui. And now Blade Storm's activated by Jazzikins. Updraft in the air, headshot at the Firefall. No trade, support from the remaining crew of Complexity towards the C site. Winning every duels once again, nullifying the Seekers coming out from Sonder. And as much as we sound repetitive on Fluorescent dropping triple kills every round, Complexity is about to get another flawless.
Oh! Nice job, man. 7-0 for Complexity on attack. I mean, they actually get the operator, too, to bring this in. And we're seeing a few ultimates here and there, Vansili, but I think the reason this is just looking so quick and clean is because it's not ultimate based, right? We're not waiting for things to happen. It's not the lockdown that secures the round. It is pure fragging and strategy right now from Complexity that is pushing forward in these rounds and ultimate supplement at some point, right? They are deadly. So deadly right now. It's incredible to see. And Shopify cannot find an answer. Pushing each round, trying to grab extremities here once again on a Sheriff round, just for more information. And Complexity continues to deny anything.
And you see that there's a textbook, a strat book that you want to try to play here for Complexity as you have Shopify on an eco. You mentioned that you had an op that was picked up by Claudia on the previous round, but look at the buy that they still have. 5 rifles on the board because they know that Shopify is on an eco. You don't want to get pinched in. You don't want to get caught by any type of trap play where the op, yes, will maybe get one, but then off the trades, you might turn over to the side and you might lose that round in a thrifty that can allow Shopify Rebellion to maybe snowball a couple of rounds back in their favor. So they're really playing some passive protocols and doing a great job at it. Resulting now to another round for Complexity. And dude, I'm impressed. It doesn't sound like I'm impressed so far, but I'm definitely impressed of how Complexity is currently playing the attacker side of Haven.
It's a combination of like flabbergasted, holy and this is absurd. Right? You're almost
what
speechless.
timeline are we on?
This is wild. Okay, and it's the team, right? You don't have a 20-6 somebody. It's 9-8-8-7-6. Everybody's got their hand in the pie right now. Lace on the assists around the board on smokes and paranoias. And down to short. It's going to be Complexity going quick as Shopify push again.
Look at that. Even a flash and dash across, a counter flash and dash forward with the op. It spots 2, and Lace still gets the kill on the trade, or at least on the support, rather, on the other side of A-Long. Trailblazer clear out the site, doesn't get too much information. At least the shots, you hear it that there's somebody playing towards default. Big paranoia, blind one on sewers too. So identifying 2 players. Play outside of the smoke though. KP finally shows up on the board with 2 kills. As she gets traded off here by Lace. Locked down out on the defense, and Complexity falls back to re-hit somewhere else with the middle left on the clock. With the gun of Ray sticking out, Sauter punishes it.
All right, 8-4. It's definitely something they can work with on the other side. Once you're on attack, you get to control the map. Shopify need at least a few rounds. Lace and Claudia now left. Lace is going to be able to dodge out this. And the operator might come in handy.
Oh! I was going to say, Lace on the attack operator, especially on an Omen. It's not necessarily a rare sight. She uses this a lot. See her ropping on the C side of Lotus.
30
Probably does
seconds
it towards the C long if it wasn't against an eco this time, the previous round. But you saw the crosshair placement was there. Almost landed that shot.
remaining.
And as Claudia looks for a surprise shot, Sonder was playing within that smoke. And with 15 seconds left, you're not allowing that off to get picked up here by Lori.
Quick break.
Where's the op? Find it.
I got it. T-Rex arms in that moment, you know?
Yep, that's crazy. And it finally clicks. That little push-up, I believe, long C allowed the rest of the map to stay solid. Shopify Rebellion, when they were getting mixed up in their last match, you saw it because their opponents were waiting on Shopify's first defensive movements. You know, Shopify would be like, okay, these angles aren't good anymore, we're gonna move. And Complexity's kind of a lot getting Shopify to do that in their strategies. Ooh,
and there you go.
Nobody gets seen. That was close.
Yeah, op in the hands of Lace, likes to take it on the long angles there where it's easier to challenge. I don't really see her taking towards the A-long if she wants to fight against another operator potentially with Lori setting up. But that angle! With the dash activated, a flash, and it only half blinds Raze who's able to come out to get the kill. Now Seeker's coming out towards the C site.
Found one.
And identify at least one player playing in the back of the platform. A pinch from from Garage and C-Long. Paranoia to hit Sibui right in the face. Meanwhile, still holding her ground. Claudia answers back. Clariful out there for the trade. Rolling Thunder out. Things are finally looking good here for Shopify Rebellion. Seeker's out on their end, but Raze answers right back. Still on a 2v2, Op still in the hands of Lace.
Cover going out.
Let's look at this full flank happening. Coming out from Raze. taking a long route over so she could walk by the backstab.
Flowerful waiting and watching on that
30
position
seconds
if
left.
they try to go spawn.
Oh,
Lace is
okay,
gonna
it's an off TP. Yeah. And then you rotates on the C-Link.
Boom. Thank you very much. Rotation, and now you have Raze to listen and watch.
Exactly. So I like this. Again, being very patient, running the protocols, hearing the footsteps of both players towards the spawn. So Raze could just play the angle instead of facing face front towards that C-Link for the initial engage. Lace also pushing forward. Furret now coming out, so you know that they're coming from heaven now.
Yeah, both footsteps too. Breach heard around, and then KJ's right there at the stairs.
Okay,
Oh,
but
this
that
is smart.
shot,
This is smart.
I think it gives away the position of both of them, though. Because they're going to have to check towards spawn.
One enemy
Lace is
remaining.
peeking out. There's that first kill. Trying to get a halfway is powerful. But Raze and Lace play that round to perfection as Complexity fight right back. They still have to lead 9-1.
Really awesome look on that retake, and just smart positioning by Complexity to keep scaling forward. Raze having a huge factor in the audio catch of how the rotation was happening and what the timing was.
Last player standing.
And the from the shadows, you love to see a good old end around from the shadows create a retake, but
Yeah.
it's frustrating when it's happening against you. 9-1 now. Viper's Pit's ready. Lockdown there. And the Odin, Rage Odin coming out now as they just start spamming that wall. They want to give Complexity something
works.
to think
Spike
about.
down mid.
There it is. Let's go. Nice. Starting off, I don't know how long it's been since Shopify finds first kill there. Maybe the last few, but this is going to be towards B with the pick.
Trailblazer as well. KP in the back of the site. No
You
fault
should
line
run.
available. Jazzigans on the top of the site, spotting KP. Now I've got some players trying to look for a surprise kill. Raze was trying to catch one off guard, and now
One
all the
enemy
tools are
remaining.
actually coming out in favor of Shopify Rebellion instantly right there. Round coming through, even no plans coming down for Complexity.
Last round
As
before the
Shopify
switch.
Rebellion, they're starting to find a little bit of light.
Yeah, much quicker there. I think a lot of it as well was KP
Enemy remaining.
wiping off the cobwebs, feeling a little bit better now. See if second half's going to be better, and Lori as well. Two of the players you're hoping can explode, and that's something that can happen on attack side for Lori and KP as they go forward as initiator and duelist. So if they can get activated, it's going to be a much better story on that side. But Complexity, they're doing a great job of figuring out how to shut down everyone. Here towards long, they're going into the Killjoy utility full this time, so it'll definitely be a task they have to manage.
Most of it already found
Oh,
here
never
by
mind.
that Trailblazer. Exactly. You're not going to do too much here on trying to play a passive A site with KJ util, and Complexity identifying that
planted.
Odin that was being used very early towards B main that previous round. A 5 versus 5 retake as they push towards A.
Shadows traveling.
They have such a good setup. Flank watch still, just everybody piled in sight with no answers. I mean, they could use an Omen ult right away to block maps when they do this, but there it is.
Towards A long to jump out towards the window. 3 instant kills for Shopify Rebellion. Spike still planted though. Still players alive to try to watch this. Fights are coming back in favor though of the attackers.
remaining.
Claudia with the wall bang onto Lori. Spike is halfway. Odin onto Claudia as well. Lights on Louis B. We're sticking on the Spike, and she still gets the kill through the smoke to win the round for Complexity. They take the half. 10
Switching
to 2.
sides.
This is crazy. The Hail Mary plays that are being brought out here is Shopify try to gain these rounds from the shadows to block the mini-map and just kind of mess with the heads of Complexity, but Claudia, again, has had most of the lurk this game, controls the last few frags.
Yeah.
Getting to the position to make it happen again for Complexity, wasting enough time for the rest of the team to get there. Van Silly, these rounds, like I swear Shopify is so close on each one. Complexity is just making them that much more complex.
Yep.
Oh my.
Momentum breaker, 5 versus 2. Pretty much that was lost at that point.
Yeah.
3 instant kills out from Shopify. And I like this wall here. So many cubbies that are now initiated by this wall coming up. You see already Raze tucking behind it. But it's going to force a lot of decay with the players trying to move through. Wall about to come down, smoke coming up, and even allowing Complexity to rotate back towards the site. There is moving
damage.
closer, trying to bait out the shots here towards the back of the site. There's that player behind the default, and it's a perfect bait and switch.
remaining.
Debated for all the
Last player
kills, but it's still a
standing.
1 versus 1. Jazzikins with a dash activated. Flowerful looking to reposition. Sheriff in the
have the
hands
pings.
of Jazzikins. She's not looking. It's the wrong ping. She clears towards her right. It's backstabbed by Flowerful, and Shopify still are able to hold their ground, at least on a pistol that was looking to be Complexity's win.
An incredible round and a very necessary round to calm down Complexity in these rounds.
Last player
Shopify has a lot of work to do coming back through, thinking that that corner had switched. Flowerful comes up very, very big. All right, second one, Guardian for Sabui. Looks like they actually upgraded 3 Bulldogs, Vansili. There, no, okay, downgrade. Let's not get ambitious. They're going for A.
Well, we got a
This is
Bucky,
what we
though.
said. Jet's gonna be on for the duelist role on attack. Can they
Yep.
make it happen? Yeah, and a Bucky.
Bucky for the defenders, but it's across the map towards C.
Here.
Shopify Rebellion are having a
Placing
much
swarm
different strat than Complexity did on the anti-eco. Brute bursting their way towards the A
Placing
site.
swarm grenade.
Really, you mentioned it,
Swarm
right? This
grenade
is
out.
definitely a rematch game that Shopify Rebellion really wanted back in their favor. With how the half has been going here for Complexity, they definitely want to answer back as soon as possible, and that's one way to do it.
It's so much pressure, right? You need a mistake-free game from Shopify Rebellion now. Oh my God, they're gonna waterfall out. You don't see this very often, but it's a treat.
But no treat so far. All of Shopify Rebellion getting all the kills with the exception of that Bucky we've mentioned. And it's going to end it right there. So a nice anti-eco in the end for Shopify.
Right? I think one of the ones that down was a Spectre, so no worries on that.
Yep.
They get a few more buys in here. This bonus round now they have to heavily consider. At least the damage being done, right? You don't always have to win the bonus, but if you can actually scratch your opponent to almost death, you're still in a good position here going into the next round.
Blade Storm.
Maybe a push out mid? Yeah. Quick orb grab here on long.
Some damage. Forces regrowth. So I saw a little bit the turn away from the flash of wood in the
got the
fault
spike.
line. There was a potential there that Lace could get the punish from the top of the C site. But now Blade Storm and the rest that they have from the previous round, it's a really good bonus round that they have activated for Shopify this time around.
Lock in sight.
Just straight in, not even up. Oh, it's gonna be a dash out. An old Shazam.
Planted.
Oh, they stay in. Dangerous. I like it. All right.
That's what happens. Punished down by Jazzikins running through the smoke. Flash towards the front. Lots of utilities still available, though. Aftershock may be still available by KB. Indeed it is, towards the garage. No tap to force it out yet. Finally it comes out as the fight goes in towards the window. Paranoia even to be thrown on the assist. Turret to watch the flank as Jazzikins trying to move forward. Still have to tap onto the spike, though.
enemy remaining.
There's that fight. 2 versus 1. Full plan for Fireful. No more utility left. The tap onto the spike. The double peek. And it was weighted there by Complexity. Both of them just ADSing down for that kill. And an easy defuse here to put Complexity with 2 more rounds away of already closing map 1.
In such a fast fashion. The rounds that Shopify are winning do seem, I mean, they've been the 2 pistols, but even towards the last, they were a bit of a struggle, right? It just seems like Complexity has their number this game, the way they're trading and how they're behind each other on trades. Let's see if they can pull it back into their favor here. 1 more round. We expected that to possibly go Complexity's way, and Shopify did take 3 down, so it's a question of, is it enough for them, right? Little temptation of mid here, and it looks like Shopify wants to see what Complexity has to offer. They're not looking!
Thought that somebody was in that window to make sure that nobody was pushing down, so
You're
KB
right, you're right.
was getting ready for the assist to help here. The attackers lured to explode towards the garage, but still it ends up being a trade-off, at least on that mid side. until a second kill came through. Advantage for Complexity. And all of that util from the Killjoy. Claudia ready to play the retake with the rest of her friends.
Nice silent movement by Shopify. They're going to have quite a bit of time before this retake even gets into effect. There's still 3 members across the map here.
Oh, that's going to get hurt, right?
All right, here comes the cavalry. Blade Storm is here. Just Jazzykins go for it.
Wesley's still worried about some sort of flank. There's the smokes coming out. Retake ensues. Perfect trade so far again. The spacing is right until this happens. Cloudburst allowing Sabui to just relocate. After getting the first kill, couldn't translate, or should I say couldn't transfer onto the second kill onto Lace, who gets Omen dipped at this point. But the fuse comes through and Complexity are now at that point.
Brute forcing. Also,
Match point.
if you compare how Complexity was playing attack scale forward to how we just saw Shopify play it, there was utility base. They like after this is kind of like a, I'm going out, you know, and you can still buy time in that corner, call util out, but it's tough. They don't have much of a choice otherwise. You know, Complexity is also pushing them into a really, really tough corner this game. 4 rounds for Shopify Rebellion here, and Complexity, their 9-2 record on Haven since April is showing Van Silly.
8 chances to close it out. And Shopify have to continue to now roll rounds with little casualties to make sure that their economy stays okay. Because even look at this buy. They win this round here and they lose 4 players. It's still going to be potentially a good buy for Complexity on a half buy and a lower buy that you have for Shopify. So you got to be wary for that. So Shopify Rebellion identifying that, want to play a little bit more slowly, trying to punish some players pushing forward. As Jazzykins the only one dancing here left and right. Finally, we see a little bit of information being thrown towards the garage, but it doesn't force a pivot out for Complexity. Just Jazzykins walking back in the site to get ready, even for Lori walking forward.
Oh my.
Nice flash. Blended both players. No one gets the kill onto KP, but at least Lori trades it out. So great assists coming out from Sonder. Trying to capitalize on a surprise attack. Denied by Lori once again, who picks up 3 in a round, catching all the kills for Shopify this round over. And with the spray just got through the smoke, you can definitely see it. It's the rifles that's staying behind here for Complexity. They want to save it into the next round. So big check marks that you can put here in the column for the W for Shopify Rebellion. We mentioned that they didn't have to lose with too many casualties, and they did so.
3,000. KP should be able to get a light buy-in next round, unless there's just a bulldog drop on that. But this is good for Shopify. I think at this point, yes, go for the comeback. You never don't, but get some rounds. Like it feels like everyone's still synergizing in how they're trying to play the composition, what they want to do. A perfect example, like you said, was the window position where KP got dropped thinking, well, the turret went down, so we have somebody window still. But just those little desyncs are really causing the whole entire map to be won by Complexity in moments. So shoring those up, exactly what they need to do.
Yeah.
See how they move here.
KP gets the buy from Sabui as well, so Vandals, the lowest weapon being the Bulldog. They have an ult to work with, so the Breach ult for the A site. Elise is the indication that Shopify Rebellion wants to show here to Complexity.
No extremity pushing from COL.
Yeah.
They're actually waiting for everything. Retake everywhere but A.
It's a much lower buy. So you want to play the shorties super close.
Yeah.
In the hands here of Kara. There is that flash. And as Kara turns the corner, that's 3 players right there. Lori holding the back of the site. Feels really good here for Shopify Rebellion to just overtake the site.
Planted.
This round holds. They can bring it now to 6. A 7th round could happen with the Rolling Thunder. So Shopify Rebellion does have a few things on their plate they can set here from round to round. Lori's going to be coming up on ultimate soon, so we can see a long C start. Or ult there. An ult on that round's not a problem. And they come into this one pretty hardy. 3 ults, guns around. And they are going up against a few ultimates as well, so if Complexity wants to find Shopify Rebellion this round, all it takes is Seekers. So what's the answer now? It seems like Complexity is waiting for that last kind of, all right, play the site safe, zone defense, and we'll get them this time, right?
Yeah.
And now Shopify is going to attack that. It was much quicker from Complexity and reactions and audibles and offense and defense here. But it looks like Shopify is able to read this lax play a little bit.
Yeah, and one of those moments where Shopify Rebellion probably understanding here that a lockdown is in play and forcing a lockdown to push everybody back towards long C on a post plan is not too bad, right? So there's that first engage, there's that first initiation.
Boom.
SR takes over the site on C. There's the plant, the lockdown, and now there's no smokes really to smoke the front C. So this is a great position now for Shopify to play the post plant.
Yeah, they all get out now. Laurier's like, I'm gonna stay. Good Molly delay. Operator takes sight.
Oh! Moving a little bit quickly down that staircase. Op shot then, getting the leg shot onto Sonder. But there you go. 3 players instantly dropped all the way towards long C. Or should I say from long C towards the C site. This becomes now another situation where all they used was a Rolling Thunder on their side for Shopify Rebellion. You could still cycle a lot of ults here as Complexity back into an eco.
Yeah, and you got the Seekers out, so now you Shopify can just walk the map as slow as they want or go as fast as they want, and not have to worry about Cabbage Patch chasing them down. So 3 ultimates, like you said, still ready. Flowerful could go farming on this one and actually pick up a lockdown, 1 long, 1 plan, and then they'll have a huge delay on Complexity again. There's the Seekers from 1, and we'll see how this plays out as they get into sight. But Complexity is here this time.
I like it. Precautious plays. Despite playing against a lower buy for Complexity, Seekers are still coming out just to engage.
Oh!
Beautiful assist coming out from JP's flash there. To drop all 4 players stacked inside the A site for Complexity. So you mentioned that, Riv. Cycle out a little bit more of those ults, giving Flowerful the opportunity to plant. And all she needs now is an orb or kill in the next round. To get now potentially another round closer to Complexity's match point.
Shopify. What did we say, right? Lori had 3 kills on the first half.
Yeah.
What happens to a duelist on attack? They get activated. KP behind that as well with the activation. Sonder there, and they're coming alive. Yeah. That was, for many, a scary first half for Shopify Rebellion at this late in the game, and I'm talking the tournament. So coming alive here on the second half of Haven, Complexity is now forced to take their first time out. Figure out what's going on.
Yeah. And so far, we've seen hits from different places here from Shopify Rebellion, mainly on the extremities. But what really is behind the hits is the Sky utility, really, to identify Lori's engagement in the site. So if you're able to identify or hear the Trailblazer happening somewhere towards that minute mark, or maybe even earlier, maybe an inkling here that the hit may be coming soon. And off the timeout, you can definitely see here there's already a heavy investment for Complexity. Lace will have nothing but a small shield to get the rest of her util and no shrouded step. But this is going to be a pivotal round here. A perfect opportunity for Shopify Rebellion to maybe pick up 2 rounds if they get this one here.
Placing sentry.
Shopify trying to buckle down now under the pressure. Where did we start this? 12, 6, 5? My word, they're creeping up now. It's a quick one, Van Silly. Trying to shark attack lower, no one's there. And they'll slow it down for now. Yeah,
even for COL, they actually brought down the Viper's Pit. It's not too deep, though, so it doesn't really allow for Raze to get in the custody of that C-Long. Because one just turned around the corner from a flash, and Raze has no value from playing a deep down towards C long, so forced to play a little bit more passively. and leveraging the utility from Claudia to figure out how they want to play around the Viper's Pit after. Meanwhile, though, talked about the aggression that was needed here that wasn't really present for Complexity before, Riv. It's happening now.
Wow. I think this
Blue
actually
sandwich.
loops for Shopify. They're going to get the spike into sight.
Yeah, but it only identifies one kill.
Wait!
And another was two. The other swing comes out. Close range. Kara gets the kill on Delori. Another kill face to face towards the front B. And that's the spike down. So the kill that Fireful got was that one, but the other two slipped through. And that was a costly one.
30
That
seconds
looked so
left.
good until it didn't. Oh my god. It was right there, Van Silly.
Yep.
Oh, here we go again though. 2v2 to A site.
But you delay here, the Viper's Pit's out, or the tossing screen's out. Flash even identifies the Omen moving forward. You heard the shrouded step. There's only 10 seconds left. The rotate's going to have to come across here.
10 seconds left.
There's a nice little first kill by Sibui and a
Sibui.
second one. Claudia looking for a timing, but Sibui, utility in her hands.
Enemy
Gun is
remaining.
out, the flick is missed.
You should run.
How does that turn back in favor of Shopify?
Lockdown, waiting. Raised. They don't have enough money to buy next round anyways. I mean, they could have a hero gun, but what's it going to do here for a few rounds? They're just going to buy together. Race is going to go for it.
Yeah, alarm bot turret, snake bite for hell at least to make it a 1v1. Pre-fired shot in the corner, saw the knees
Yeah.
of Sibui, and Laraful comes out for the swing from hell. Beautiful crossfire setup, and that's what Complexity needed to hold the A side. It was perfect the way that they played the backstab. And I'm going to take your freeze right back, Riv. It looked good until it didn't.
Oh,
Down A.
it was so close. And just the amount of space that the team mid had gained already on the side of Shopify Rebellion to start faking mid was just off time with Complexity. But they still bring it back. That's a wash. Whatever. It happened. Shopify still comes back because Sabui's a boss. Here we go now into round 22. We're still going on this one. What the heck? And it is going to be Shopify Rebellion holding on, climbing each rung of the ladder to get us to overtime here. A 2-2-1 setup for Complexity. They just chill on a little bit of a retake util as usual, but they do keep each other, both of the other sites pretty solidly held.
Yeah, you definitely mentioned it. Radiant play coming out from Sibui. Star in the making from that last round for Shopify Rebellion. She mentioned it in her interview too. It's like sometimes we get rolled, sometimes it teaches me how to play better. And in those intense moments where you're facing backs against the wall, you're still able to open up 3 kills like that and get the assist on that last kill. Beautiful play.
Blocking sight.
Now given the opportunity for Shopify
Still going.
Rebellion to make
Perfect
this
accuracy.
a 10-2 or 10-12
Claudia.
rather, but yeah, you saw that dash coming in. Olaf fake to start things off, but gun's been picked up. Blade Storm still available for Jazzikins, but it's far.
30 seconds left.
What?
Mayhem! Mayhem in C!
Enemy remaining.
No way, not like this. Not like this. Not like this.
Oh, they went so hard for the strat. Thought the rotation
10
Complexity
seconds
came in.
Sunder could do it, right? There's that first one. I saw the
That's
flicks
it.
here and there, but
Defenders
that's
win.
gonna be it. Ending it on the Thrifty. Complexity takes the first map 13-9.
On that last round, Complexity was anchored. Nothing moved them. For the amount of pressure that we saw Jazzikins putting on A, going into flash, going into dash, or not flash, smoke, and then dash, and then not much other pressure. It did not dislodge the side of Complexity from C as much as they wanted. We see that ultimate come in from the shadows stuck, and nope, you had a neighbor. You had a neighbor. So what a game from Complexity. Definitely dropping the ball a bit in the second half instead of being able to close out the game. But for Shopify Rebellion, that's exactly what they want to see. The fact that there's room for them to get back in, and that Shopify found their footing, because the first half they couldn't find trades, they couldn't buy shots.
Yeah. at least you don't crumble under the pressure, right? It was, yes, maybe a
Exactly.
12-4 or something like that. It was starting to become a
huge.
12-10, but it doesn't matter. A win's a win, and to end it on a thrifty, that's a great way to still keep that composure and keep that confidence that we'll see, hopefully, in that second map. Or if not, because I want to see a third map. So let's see that happen after the break.
Hey guys, I'm Jazzykins. I am the IGL and duelist of Complexity GX3. I think what drives me to compete is just I'm so young and I still haven't reached all my goals in the scene yet. And obviously I still want to play tier 2 or like higher tier 1. You know, I want to get up in those ranks, and I want to do that with my new team.
Still so many players left behind. No flash actually to reach that so far. Stays onto the side. Most of the players still making its way around. And Bar still manages to get it. But
I guess the most player I've seen recently get the most 1v1 clutches is probably Claudia. Even though she's a Senti, like she 1v1 clutches like all the time. It's crazy. So I would say Claudia. I'm gonna give her some credit.
on 1-5-1, it's impossible to win this round out if you're Claudia. And the post lane, I mean, potential there. Still no a second. And it's enough. But is it there? It's good for Claudia.
I would say I have a very strong mental to the point where even though like we're down a bunch of rounds and the game is kind of rough, like I always have like some sort of motivation to like push my team and be like, it's all right guys, we got this, focus on the next round. And like as long as you like don't harp on past rounds and you just focus on like the present and like what's next, then you know the score doesn't matter. Score doesn't matter. I think I just have a very strong like keep going.
Completely unscathed. Every time it almost reaches, maybe they can hit for more and they just spam it.
Yeah, I would say this is being IGL is probably one of the bigger challenges I've had so far as an individual, because it's also like a lot. I feel like there's a lot of pressure too because you're the one leading these rounds with your team, and they count on you for like the pre-round, right? If it doesn't work, then that's okay. Like we just go again.
They just slowly work their way up. And if the Viper goes down, how does that happen? They just jumped in onto the site, still managing to find the next. And it continues. How is this forgivable?
Pursue your dreams because obviously anything is possible, and you could do it. If I could do it, you could do it too. So keep pursuing it, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my journey. If you follow my socials and stuff, thank you for supporting, and yeah.